Ba-doop-a-doo!
Boo-boo-boo-boo.
Okay, a little bit better.
Yeah, put a little spice on it.
My ears are bleeding.
Check your time.
Closer. Use your mic, you're echoing.
Who?
Culture. Casino.
Mark, you're muted. Talk, my man. You're unmuted now.
Okay, I just unmuted myself.
There you go.
Yes, microphone check off. 1, 2, check off.
There we go. Oh, here it comes, everybody.
Nobody better do that on mine.
Oh, not the OC, baby.
Boo, 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 boo. I
There we
think
go.
that part. That's the part I missed. There you go.
Ow, that hurt.
Can even hear us because that goddamn intro is so fucking loud.
So loud. So loud. And then you get like this mellow one coming in.
Oh man, you know, if we didn't talk over it, I could have like clipped it because I had to download the episode for that intro. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I could have, I don't know, lowered the fucking volume.
Just a bit. Well, thanks for dropping the F-bomb at the beginning. We are no longer monetized.
I'm gonna have to make like new video clips in those DVDs.
Okay, well, there's still a chance though, Scott, because
sorry,
maybe they didn't hear us.
Yep. Oh, here we are. Hey, everybody. Welcome to
You didn't change the background.
No, didn't change the background. But welcome everybody to the dump. It is Saturday night. I work too much. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore.
Yeah, well, that and the baby probably doesn't help a lot.
Doesn't.
Oh, always bringing up the baby.
Oh God, stop being jealous of my kid. But the baby, like now, the baby, the Spork, the baby Spork, he is doing cooing noises and like trying to like it looks like he's trying to talk to you, and all he does is go, "Ugh." And it's like, okay,
it's an actual baby.
Oh yeah,
But you're talking about the rapper, the baby.
No,
No.
no.
You know him?
Different the baby.
Yeah, this
We're
baby
tight.
hasn't shot anybody at a Walmart.
No,
yet.
not yet. Allegedly.
No, I'm pretty sure he did it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if it's what. Did it go through court?
I thought it did.
Okay. Well, always say allegedly if you don't know 100%.
Well, yeah.
That's just.
Only if you're on your channel.
Yeah, exactly. You throw me under the bus every time. But we do have a couple guests tonight. I mean, Tom from Midnight's Edge is. I don't consider him a guest. I consider him a guru, a mentor of the channel. But Tom is here, and we haven't had him in a few weeks, so it's good to see you, Tom.
Been so peaceful.
Who's that guy?
I'll make an offer you can't refuse.
He's out of the family.
He's not a fan. I hope you have a masculine son, a strong son. That's my favorite part of the movie. And our guest tonight, I'm trying to get to come on once a month. That's I hope we can get him that way. Marc with a C. How you doing, my man?
Hello!
Yeah.
I came to rock the house.
Yes, sir.
Blow your mind. What's up, everybody?
That's what I'm talking about, man. Let's get some fire. Everybody backstage was a little slow tonight, and one of those people were Mad War. What's your name?
Mad War.
Mad War. Oh, I'm slow. Why is the W then lowercase?
Okay.
I'm just saying.
No,
okay.
just stand by, everybody. Hold on.
Good to see you. And that's Marc again. Culture Casino.
Hello, everybody. Welcome. I hope that we can maintain the same energy Marc brought to the show today.
Yeah.
And, we have to rise above what Mad usually drives us to. So.
Oh wow, weird. You don't have any nerdrotic gear on tonight.
Oh wait a minute.
I can
Dude,
change.
you're in a competition with him. What are you doing?
No. But see, I'm a what do you call that? I was about to say poor sport. No, I'm a gracious contestant. Yes.
However,
are
you wearing your nerdrotic Speedos?
No, you know what? I said not until I beat him to 500K, because that's what this channel's trying to do. I threw the gauntlet down. I looked him in the eye through a super chat, because he won't listen to me other than if I pay him. And I said, nerdrotic.
Pick up the phone and call him.
I am going to beat you to 500K, sir. Yeah. Yes, you may only need about 100K, and I need 498, but I will beat you, sir.
Yeah, we have a secret weapon. The OC.
Yes, and
what?
That doesn't
What's
help
up,
my
Keely?
No, I know. I just thought about it was going to be on my channel.
It's going to be on your channel, and we're going to talk about
by
that.
proxy.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second after we say hello to Tina Bojan's here, a channel member and a great person. She supports every channel, so I thank her.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Parrot Head. Go ahead.
No, if she's there, you can tell by her avatar. It says quality content.
Yes. And Parrot Head doesn't take care of us. He just beats us up and makes fun of us.
I love Parrot Head. He gave me the nickname Cuddles. So there you go.
Brutal Morningwood, best name on YouTube.
Oh, Mr. Tickle Trunk. That's a great
one too.
Yeah.
Midnight's Edge After Dark. I don't know him. He must be new.
I already don't like him.
Bobo Yogi. Get him, Tom. And already a $5 super chat. We got $5 from Toxic Man Flew for $5. He says, tonight, can the panel please agree to let Mad Martigan speak whenever he has something intelligent to say? The chat is quivering on anticipation.
Listen, if I am known for anything, it is making those chats quiver.
I don't want to say what that was because I would be an ist if I said what you just said. That was really...
Here, ladies, I'm gonna set the world on fire. Hey, ladies, it's Mad Martigan here. I can teach you a good time about love.
Who is that? Who's doing that?
I don't know. Keely Chow, though, says hi. And once again, R.I.P. JJ. We love you, man. And I decided... tonight we're going to laugh. We're going to have a good time. JJ was a huge supporter from the get-go of my channel. And I know what he would want is everybody getting along and having a good time. So we'll get rid of Mad quick.
Why can't I put YetiCast in timeout?
Did you, Mark, did you know JJ at all? Because he's been around for a while.
I know. I didn't have the pleasure of getting to meet him.
Yeah, he was a good dude.
Yeah.
He's
I can tell. I can see all the nice things that people are saying, and that's probably the best testament to, how he always was.
Yep.
You hear so many great things, especially in this space right here.
Yeah, it's toxic, man. It's definitely toxic. Emotionally unstable amphibian. Hail, my friend. How are you? I know that I saw Zaz out there or Zek, we could say. We also have Keck44 always up in the house. We have Dragon Master 360 saying what's up. Nick McCabe in the house.
McCabe.
One of the Aussie brothers, the McCabe and Sam. The Nick and Sam McCabe channel. Make sure you guys check that out. Also with
Wonder
YetiCast, they are the Wonder Twins. When get them going on something, they will rip people apart. Like, they're so pleasant, though. They're like, yeah, cheerio.
One of them is.
Wow. You are vicious.
More like Tomax and Zaymot. Who remembers them? Tomax and Zaymot from G.I. Joe.
Ooh.
Oh, the mirror opposite
the Crimson
brothers.
Twins.
Oh, we lost Tom. Yes, dude. I had both them. They were awesome.
Me too.
Tahilum 29, what's up? It's been a little while. Good to see you. Brightest Day, my brother.
Yo.
Yeah, Brightest Day is great. He has his channel too. Kaylee D, always supporting us all. So thank you for being here. Mark's 47. Rogue Disney, a lot of people. Script Doctor up in the house.
Wait, I'm sorry. Could you go back to that last comment there? No, well, not the howdy y'all. The guy, Mark with a K.
Oh, Mark's okay. I don't even know Mark with a C, but I already know he's wrong. Always a K. Wow.
Yeah. Okay. Only if your first name is Skid.
That's a big thing between you Marks. I've noticed that. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry, Script Doctor. I'm here, so you don't have to worry about it.
Peace, Mark.
Oh, this is messed up here. Well, I love this. You better entertain me, Scott, listening while doing chores. Script Doctor, as always. YetiCast says, how does Nerd Rock know who at Sporking News podcast is, but has no idea who I am? I smell bribery. No, you know what it is? I'm better.
You're Canadian.
I'm better.
That's the problem.
You just had like a couple huge tweets and one video. Come on, dude.
No, look at me. I can say clever things on Twitter.
Yeah, whatever. No, Yeti's great. Yeti is great. Machiny's great. And whoever else is here, I love you guys.
What's up, Maki?
Yeah, Maki's the best. Wookiee Supremacy up in the house. Steve's here. Steve, I love when you show up. You always have great shit to say. We also have the Gilk Man. Love you, buddy. And I
Gilky, sorry about your dog, bro.
Yeah, man.
Believe me, I've been there.
That's tough.
It'll lay you low for a while.
It really will.
Darmok on Jalad at Henegar.
What nerd shit is that?
That's the twins.
Darmok and Jalad.
I don't know.
At Henegar.
Yeah, no, just repeating it is not helping me know what it is.
Somebody Google that. Soul says it. What up? Andy Master Zone is here. And let's get going, guys. So a couple topics tonight we're going to be going over. We're going to be going over something I think is one of the biggest news articles for people like us. Rumble is going public. They are trying to take a big chunk out of a certain platform's non-free speech ideas and letting people actually say what they need to say. Free speech. Yeah, free right. Speech. Mark, what is your feelings about going to another platform?
Considering we're on that platform now, I can still say F them because they've pulled a couple of my videos for misinformation when it wasn't, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I'm a little bit concerned going forward about how we're able to express ourselves. Right. There's just way too much control going on here. And all of the wrong people can say whatever they want to say. But it's the truth tellers who are the ones who are getting the the slap down. And I don't appreciate that. So yes, they need to know that there's some real alternatives. And you know what I mean? Like we can go elsewhere. We can take our business elsewhere. I like it.
Yep. And I think culture being the one, the only, movie house on the block, let's just say, YouTube has had control for so long. Yeah. We needed something like this. We need to support something like this because they truly have the complete control over people like ourselves.
We need to support all of them. We need to get more of these video platforms out there. We need to get people who have integrity and temerity to be the leaders of these platforms, because unfortunately I have some really bad feelings about what's about to go down with Locals/Rumble here in the near future. Again, I mean, when you rely on the current banking system, you are exposed to the evils of ESG, which controls pretty much everything that you do. You have to
buy the dip, guys. Buy the dip.
The dip of what?
It's a cryptocurrency thing because of the dip. And it's the time
George!
to buy it. You're talking about banking.
Yeah, George will be here soon.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you, I bought the dip. Every time it dips, I buy more. Every
time you dip, I dip.
When
we dip.
You dip, we dip.
That is some of the best.
Your hands on your hips.
Yeah.
See, when I do it, I'm doing the butt.
Why is your hand up on my
sexy? Damn it! I've been doing the wrong one the whole time.
Ain't nothing wrong if you want to do the butt. All night long.
By the way, I haven't heard I haven't heard a lot of good things about Rumble. I think Yellow Flash was talking about it and another thing, and he because I was like, fine, I'll go do a Rumble thing. Maybe. But
Odyssey's easy mode, man.
Yes,
it takes the content from here.
Rumble is not user friendly. I've set it up. I set up a sync with YouTube, so I don't know if it actually syncs.
Go check it out.
Well, I don't think it's sank.
It didn't sync
any of the stuff I've done prior to doing it, which was the other day. I'm wondering if it will sync this one up. But you also have to pay to live stream because they're not there yet. So that's what I got from Rumble? It. Like you had to have a starter pack, which is $25 a month. Am I incorrect about that? If anybody knows, let me know in the chat, because it seems like it's a little messed up on that one.
Is that on Rumble or the Rumble. Odyssey?
No, okay. Odyssey is user friendly, man.
Odyssey's amazing. I've had nothing but great experiences over there. I don't know, Mark, have you played around with Odyssey yet?
I have a channel over there.
And
I do drop some exclusive videos over there. The ones that I know I can't get away with over here. Yeah, I just dropped one on earlier today.
I need to do that.
Which was
I need to do that. That's a good
frontal
idea.
Mark.
Full
with
frontal Marc.
Well, you know, D instead of a C.
Yeah. Well, it could be a C.
That's the OnlyFans.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, Tom, what do you think about other platforms? Would you guys think about moving your channels over to different platforms? Are you on Odyssey?
No. As far as being on Odyssey, we're not. I know we're looking into like doing more podcasts, like as far as like, you know, getting on the audio side of things.
Mm-hmm.
We are.
Spotify, iTunes.
Yeah, all that kind of business. But as far as like moving away from YouTube, not yet, and hopefully never. But like, because the problem is with like Twitch, there's so many things you have to adhere to there for them to be able to do what they do. And I'm not even sure if Andre's gotten an offer from them yet. I mean, maybe there's some other platforms we'd think about going, but it's just, you know, it's one of those things where we like to keep the fight where, you know, on the front lines. So,
Right.
you know, and regardless of how we speak about YouTube has been good to us, right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Yep.
all in all, I mean, it has allowed us to do this regardless of what chains are on, you know, our hands and feet at times.
Right.
It's still the easiest way to do this and be monetized and reach the broadest audience.
Well, let me ask a question. Could this actually be a good thing for us here? Because if, let's say, you know, Rumble does become somebody they have to worry about, will they loosen up some of their restrictions over here?
No, they would just snuff them out.
I was gonna say, has there really been anybody other than Twitch
Not in a long time.
that has really brought any competition? So at this point, I mean, as popular as Rumble and some of these other are, when you look at it, like Twitch has had such an uphill battle against YouTube to this point that I just don't see another. What the hell's going on?
I don't know. He keeps dropping out. It's okay.
Australian.
Australian.
They're probably like, you got COVID. You're trying to escape.
His internet's upside down.
Plus, I'm also frustrated by YouTube in that they don't send out notifications, and you know, I hear people complaining all the time that, you know, I'll drop a video and then you'll get a random comment. Hey man, where you been? It's been such a long time. I just dropped a video yesterday. I've been dropping videos for the last, you know, and they haven't been seeing them.
Yep.
You know, then I get complaints that people drop comments and the comments disappear.
Yep.
You know, so even my comments
subs
disappear sometimes.
Right, Marc?
Listen.
Subs disappear too.
Oh, don't get me started.
Well, I'm
on
not
that.
going to disagree with, like, it's become, considering compared to when I first started and first got monetized and first became part of Midnight's Edge and all that stuff, compared to now, like a lot of people, when they ask me for advice, they go, what's your, you know, advice about getting into YouTube? My first bit of advice is don't.
Yeah.
Because unless it's something that you can afford to do as a hobby, don't expect it to become anything more than that unless you get lucky at this point, because it used to be so much easier to be able to make a living and do something you love and not have to have 50,000 subscribers. But now that's not the case, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like what I used to be able to do with a couple thousand subscribers, I can't even do now with almost 20,000. So it's you know, and Andre, and it's always it's a constant struggle to try and keep up, and you know, we can't even afford to hire enough help to keep shit going the way we want to, right? Like I
was about to ask you that, Tom, because it
easy.
used to be a couple of years ago, if you had 30,000 subs, you could make a living and actually start.
Yeah, you could probably roughly bring home about $3,000 a year as long as you're putting out stuff and people are watching it and so on. But now basically they've caused it or forced it to where, you know, I'm not joking when I say basically, you know, you guys listening out there, when we say, you know, the super chats help and to keep the lights on, we basically live off of super chats now, guys.
Yeah.
Like
I make no
90%
money
our
off
income,
of anything
right.
else. That and members too. Thank you, members.
Yeah, remember, I count that in. Sorry,
Yeah.
that
That
too.
makes
like
sense.
those two things are like 90% of most YouTubers' income, right there.
Yep.
And it
And
never used to be that way.
Right. And it's hard for me to like, because I feel, because like this is your job. This is going to be a hobby until it's becomes something more. But like to upgrade equipment to make it better, you kind of have to ask for it. And it sucks that YouTube has gotten to us to a place where we have to ask for super chats, ask for help. You know, like they should give us more of an algorithm that gives us a chance to grow. And I feel like this algorithm has stalled.
No, they've done everything they can to squash anything that is not corporate. What was the term you came up with the other day? Culture Casino. I liked that. The channels, the corporate
Probably
something
stole
channels.
it from me.
Oh, Yeah, the oh my gosh, the corporate content creators.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah.
I like that term. That
Wow.
unless you're one of those, unless you're one of the CCC, then you're not in the top ring. Matt, are you okay? Are you dying?
What? No, I'm.
Are you looking at your penis?
He looked like he was.
Oh man.
I think he's trying to find Marc's channel on Odyssey.
Oh.
What? I'm not on
Hello,
Odyssey.
Jane.
Thanks,
How
Bojan.
are you?
Finally, we got some
intelligence.
testosterone on the stream.
Yes, how you been?
Hello.
Good.
What
How are
have
you
we
guys?
here?
Doing well. Jane, we're talking about Rumble going public and what effect that might have on people like ourselves, on YouTube in general. Have you heard about it, and what do you think about it?
I have not. This is my first time hearing it.
Oh, okay.
Interesting.
So here, hold on. Let me bring up this article, and I'll read just the quote from the article.
Hi, Janie.
Hello. How are you?
Good. I loved your video earlier. I was watching that. Yeah,
Thank
I haven't
you.
had a chance to watch that. I guess we'll be talking about it later, though, so I don't want to jump the gun.
Yeah, your videos have been great lately. Not even lately; they've just been getting better and better. So Dan Boningo, I guess he's announced the plans for a public offering on the platform itself. And this is what he said. I've been involved in a project to reestablish the free and open internet we were given in the beginning days of the internet.
Right.
I was involved very early on in some tech investments to establish a parallel free economy, free of censorship. It's something I passionately believe in. It's my life's project. It's everything. It's my heart. It's my soul. It's all I believe in. I'm willing to pour everything into it to establish those principles of freedom and liberty back on the internet, free and open, free of censorship. That free speech should rule the day. And unfortunately, it hasn't happened in the internet. We've seen some of these companies, Google, Amazon, Apple, and YouTube. We've seen with some of them have done the censoring effort to silence opposing voices and poured my heart and my money and my soul into building this open, free, parallel economy. So I have some news I want to share with you all first here on this platform. So Rumble, which I am an investor in, which I passionately believe in, and it's the free speech alternative to some of these other video outlets out there that choose to censor free speech. Rumble is now combining with a public company, CFVI. News broke tonight, which I'm happy to announce here is an effort to grow and to allow other people out there to invest in the company as it goes forward. And I just want to tell you, I'm extremely proud. I want to announce it here. We've done it a lot. Wow, this goes on for a while. But they partnered with CFVI and they're going public. And he's very passionate. He's very open about the idea of censorship that the big tech companies, they're the biggest I can't say that, but they're bigger than the steel barons, the railroad barons, the Fords, the Rockefellers. They're more powerful than they ever were. And it's today's age. It's kind of scary.
I think we need more competition. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. And if he's willing to jump in there and expand, that's great. But at the same time, going public does have its risks because now it's open for anyone to buy shares, and who knows who may sort of throw their money into this if they want to change it or take it in a different direction at some point if they buy up a substantial number of shares.
Right.
But that's the only thing I'm a little bit concerned of. Anytime a private company that has its own attitudes and perspectives decides to open that opportunity for ownership up to outside sources. But still, it sounds good. The more, the better.
Yeah, that's what I said. Marc, from what you're hearing already, I'll go on if we need to, but it sounds like that's, at least they're leaning into the idea of what we've all been screaming: free speech, free speech,
Sure,
free speech.
they're talking that talk. Let's just see what happens.
Yep.
Exactly.
And I don't want to
tell you something. It's an incredibly frustrating thing. Some of you guys who might have watched my videos, that I pour out my heart and soul, man. You know what I'm saying? I have cried on videos before. Yep. You ever watch James Brown when he performs and the guy comes out with the
coat?
the coat when he just can't go on it. That's me, man.
Yep.
You know, and then after I get through doing all that, to come back and find the video has been removed, it's like that's just not, I can't tolerate that type of thing. You know what I mean? Because I'm trying to be as real as I can possibly be. My channel's not a bunch of bells and whistles and graphics and scripts and all that stuff. You know, so for people who are just trying to express themselves, that's what it was supposed to be about. YouTube, broadcast yourself, the average person. And we're the ones who are getting censored. You would think you want to have a direct line to what the people are saying. You know what I mean? But no. So yeah, we do need to have alternatives.
Yep.
I just hope it can work out.
I just got to correct Mark on one thing. Men don't cry, our eyelids sweat.
I get dust, a lot of dust in my eyes. Now
I have allergies.
I've come to terms with it. Mark, you got me choked up.
No,
one of your videos talking about your son and introducing him to Star Wars and stuff like that. Like my kids, I was so looking forward to doing that. And it's like, I could still introduce them to the older stuff, and they may even like the newer stuff, but it won't have that connective tissue after what they have said about us, how they have called us every name in the book because we didn't like what they did with our beloved IPs. It breaks my heart.
No, the battle was just getting started. The war was just getting started back then. You know, I was just talking about it on a video that I did today. They came at us for not liking movies, for not liking comics, you know, for not liking, you know, what have you. You know, if the audience has the ability to express their opinion, then apparently that's a threat to those people who want to be dictating to us what our sensibilities are supposed to be. So yeah, they started with all of the pop culture stuff, but look at where it's led to. Now you can't say anything about anything. They disabled the dislike. You know, they silence people on Rotten Tomatoes. You know, you go on Twitter and there are certain posts where they disable the comments. They don't want people to have a voice anymore.
No.
So we have to keep pushing. We have to keep pushing, man.
Yeah. Real quick, let me just, I want to say, we'll introduce Mr. Grant Gregory in a second, but Andy McCallum, member for 2 months, actually member for 5 months at the Hot Pie level, said, glad to be a supporter of this wonderful channel. Dude, I really appreciate that. I hate how we don't see these member, you know,
so weird.
It's like you launch this thing so members have like, oh, I've been 6 months, I've been 1 year, and we don't see it. And that kills me. So thank you, Culture, for finding that one. We also have Glinser, who's another channel member. Guys, like all of a sudden I have a decent, for me, I have like a group of members that I never thought I would have had. And like, I really do appreciate, I know I don't do a lot of extra stuff because my life's really busy right now, but I promise in the new year, I at least once a month just have something for us, because I can't pay it back. Like, you guys have done so much. Like, my whole new computer setup, I was working on a freaking Chromebook when I started, and like, you guys have set me up for at least success. Just YouTube keeps watching me. But he says, I like dropping super chats, but I hate that YouTube pilfers 70%. Yeah. Sports agents don't take that much.
I know, right?
Well, it's really closer to more like 30 or 40%.
Yeah.
But it's still
it should be
ridiculous.
10.
Yeah, it should be more like 10.
Well, and consider this. I mean, now they're you know, contributing to or making sure that your taxes are taken care of at this point as a creator. You know, so you're being taxed early and often on those earnings on top of that instead of that.
What doesn't make sense also is, you know, they have 2 ads now before every video if you happen to be monetized, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yet we're only getting a third of what maybe we used to, if that. Yeah. So how is that adding up?
Well, but they're making an enormous profit. I mean,
they are too. Yes.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, we probably should talk about this because, you know, when they send out a survey, you know, we should reply and say, how come you're taking, you know, a giant chunk? You're incredibly profitable right now. You're not sharing it with your creators. Are your stockholders aware of this? I mean, as far as your ESG score goes, do you think that's artificially high considering you don't take care of the people who are actually making content for you?
I have actually a B+ in my ESG rating on my channel.
How do you even, is that true? Come on. I am so boomer. I could believe that. But yeah, we when YouTube started, they were the free speech. They were going to support us. And the minute they sold to Google, people thought, oh, it won't be that bad. And they started sucking up and taking the, programming and software from different companies that they bought out till there was nobody else.
Mm-hmm.
And just to see like an Odyssey and really Rumble, it seems like is the one that's making the biggest push. They're catering to people that feel disenfranchised by this world we're living in right now.
I'm hesitant on doing the whole Rumble or the Odyssey or whatever, because I don't want it to be like, 2K'd by EA. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I don't want Madden to come in and take out all the competition because it was cheaper and a better product, and still is a better product to this freaking day.
Dude, okay, so tell everybody right now.
Oh my God! Fine, I bought Madden.
Who told you not to buy Madden for 2 years consecutively now?
You told me. I'm not buying it this next year.
No, you're a liar.
Nope. You're a liar. Well, at least I'm not going to buy that same that same high level one. Like, because I go down a level every year until I get to the base game. So I'm almost there.
How about don't buy it again?
Let's say hi to Mr. Grant Gregory.
Hello.
He's only been here.
How's Australia?
For a while.
How did your internment check-in go?
Yeah, that's good. It's all been cleared. I'm still not allowed to speak to my neighbour or the air or anything, but yeah. Apart from that, I got my medically mandated 1 hour.
You're allowed to
walk
breathe
on
inside
my porch.
only.
Yeah.
A 1 hour walk on your porch, was that?
Yeah, 1 hour on my porch. Yeah. And yeah, I've got my my mandated 19th booster shot to get. So apart from that, freedom's good.
Yeah, but I mean, they send you a nice little texty text, right? For your internment, and so you have to like verify that you're interned properly.
Yep.
Yeah,
They
people
just put the old ball
are just
and chain
interning
in.
wrong. That's the problem.
Is that it?
They can't intern correctly.
I'd like to say thank you, awesome one. I have like 44 followers, I think, on Odyssey, so I appreciate that. I don't know how to get views over there. I've tried everything. We'll see what happens, but I appreciate.
Got an email from Odyssey saying, "Come over and join us. We don't have a dislike button. We don't stop the dislike button."
That's true.
So
yeah,
I thought that was a pretty cool marketing scheme.
That is awesome.
I actually sent Scott a screenshot because my girlfriend was checking out Odyssey, whatever. She sent me a picture of it saying dislikes. She's like, I already like them.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Scott, you actually have 46 followers on Odyssey as of right now.
Hey, look at me. I'm growing, dude.
Mark with a C is growing his presence over there.
Nice.
He's in double digits. Yeah. We've got Mad, who can't figure out even.
Am I on there?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tom told you he has no interest in Odyssey as of yet. Jane, how is your Odyssey going?
I honestly don't check up on it that often. So I'm getting a few views, but I just sort of let it ride.
Nah, that's right. Oh, is that Yeti guy back?
Let's see.
I don't.
I look at it more as a backup in
Yes.
My YouTube goes down.
I treat it the same way.
Yeah, but at the same time, I believe it will become the viable alternative. Again, once they figure out how to update the API in a way that makes it so we can't scrounge the information to show the dislikes still, I think, then it'll become more valuable.
Well, think about this. That dislike.
You just hit 50.
Well, think about this. That dislike button thing just happened. And so let's take Santa's Inc., which we'll talk about Seth Rogen in a bit. But Santa's Inc., they shut off the comments and there is no dislike. So people can't say, get out of here, you Aussie. People can't figure out how, it stops people from knowing who dislikes it. All you could see is, there's people that like it. You know what I mean?
Off the comments now.
Yeah, the comments are off and the dislikes.
Guys, they're doing that for us creators, okay?
No, they're
to spare us our feelings.
Try again. They're doing it for their corporate overlords. We know this.
Yeah.
That what they're telling you is baloney sausage. First of all, you would never, as a narcissist, give two shits about what somebody thought of you because, someone like yourself who, has very high opinion of themselves out there in the world, you don't care the people that don't like you, clearly. And so, the dislike button doesn't bother you.
Well, we just peaked at 56. We got 52 people in the chat. Joakim Stark, member for 8 months at the hot pie level, said, "Stop bargaining, Scott." I will try.
I think it was barging. Was it?
Oh, is it barging? I think he meant bargaining.
Well, I was gonna say before, like, I don't want to discourage anybody from going to these other places, but like, no, Marc is right on everything he said. You guys are all right. Like, that's the biggest problem, I think, is like, we feel like no matter what we do, it's never going to work out right, or it's never going to be good enough. And like a lot of these other places, I'm afraid the moment they become even remotely popular, YouTube is going to snuff them out.
That's what I said. Yeah, they're going to drink their milkshake.
Yeah, you said that. You did, Matt. I'll give you credit this time.
Thank you.
Well, wait a minute. But here's the difference. Okay, when you start talking about something that's decentralized, it's different. Just like cryptocurrency, it's decentralized, right?
Yes.
Whose servers are they on?
Well, I'm going to read on because Rumble has a nice setup. What they're going with.
That's why I'm asking about the servers, because look at what happened to Parler. Parler.
Yeah, they
were centralized.
Yeah, they were centralized, so they were able to be taken down. Matt G for $2. Matt G, man, it's been a while. Santa Inc. is the Citizen Kane of woke trailers.
He said that today. Wow. I think.
That's not bad.
Man, it's on fire, man.
That's so great. Toxic Man flew for $5, always supporting the channel. Rumble is the same exact position as Vox was several years ago. Vox didn't used to be all woke all the time. Really? Because Vox, all I think of is woke. Mark Lazor in the house. What's up, man?
But before that, and this is where Tox is right, you got a pretty decent balance of, left and right. Well, extreme leftism and progressivism.
Yep. Yeah.
You didn't.
Yeah, that's the extreme left and right of Vox.
Yes. Yeah. And so it's one of those things. And yes, Mark, this
another Cuomo bite the dust.
I mean, not because he suffers, but because there was something
justice.
He
shouldn't have been reporting on his brother anyway.
No. Right. I mean, beyond the ethics of it all, Jane. I mean, let's go back to the fact that he was caught in a lie, that he was quarantining in his basement.
Oh, right.
And all of this other stuff. This guy, apparently his cat ran out on the last life. Right. And look, I hope he's able to be employed. The Variety did their level best to try to say that this guy, he was, rehirable, or he, that don't
not
count
for a while, dude.
Bring him back. And I'm thinking, dude, his brother murdered a bunch of old people because of his policies, right? Then the thing he got in trouble for, this is the same problem that he's running into. He didn't get in trouble for lying about the COVID thing. He got in trouble for lying about his brother's thing, and Jane's right. I mean,
part of the problem with CNN, my issue with this too, is that they're just as responsible.
Oh, yeah.
Ethically, they should not have, they knew this was a conflict of interest from the start. Any company would have enough sense to know that you can't have the relative of the person under investigation interacting with them on your network.
Well, not just that, they were both employees. They had their own segment, so technically he was also an employee as well.
Who was?
On top of that,
the two brothers, they had like their own time once a week or something. It was like the Brothers Cuomo or something. So I don't know if he was getting paid to come on there.
Well,
but he definitely was making him look good. He definitely was making him look good during, when grandmas and grandpas were dying everywhere in New York, and they were putting sick people back into nursing homes, and we weren't allowed to talk about it on YouTube then, but we can now because, they got by it. But that's the thing I'm talking about. Free speech was gone. You couldn't even report on truthful things happening on this service. I don't know. I'm sorry.
I will say this though, that in terms of that story though, there was a lot of conflicting information, because on the one hand you had people saying you have to remove them from the home, other people saying where's their home, you can't remove them, and then you had a whole other sector of the population saying, well, let everybody in.
Well,
because they're old, they're going to die anyway.
That's it.
Agreed.
That's it. Like, you take sick people, you never keep an old person with flu, a bad case of the flu, in a nursing home, or at least you quarantine them. They weren't ready for that, and they just shoved. It's a long.
They weren't. No one was.
I love hearing the people that are like, "Hey guys, did y'all hear about this whole thing happening in the nursing homes in New York?"
Yeah.
It wasn't just
Also,
New York,
there's something
though.
about a
Michigan.
laptop.
Wherever they had an outbreak, you saw
Yep.
it just swept through nursing homes across the country. It wasn't just there. We had
but
issues
now-
here in Louisiana too.
But now that they're allowed to talk about it, it's like it's just happening. They're like, also, there's something with like this laptop from the president's son. I don't know.
Yeah, right.
I just heard about it for the first time.
Right.
Well, as far as I know,
They should have been focusing on the old folks from the very beginning.
Yes.
You know, instead of just doing
Protect
a
them.
mass, vaccination thing, they were the ones who were the most at risk
Mhm.
of anybody. That's where the effort should have been right there. They got a lot of blood on their hands, man. It'll come out more.
Cuomo's killed more old people than old age.
Can I just say,
Probably
everybody, and I think Tom had something to say, but first, Master of the TDS, they have a great channel, so please check them out. Really, I would love to have you on. So DM me and let's talk. Were you going to say something, Tom? I thought I heard you.
Well, I was going to say, like, his whole thing that bothered me about the whole thing. Look, you're a reporter at CNN. I understand to a point, somebody using their power in a place like that to do what he did. What pissed me off was when he sat there and he's like, "Oh, I didn't realize that we were affecting the investigation as much as we were." It's like, bullshit, you liar.
right.
Just fucking own it and walk the fuck out the door.
Right.
All you had to say is, "Look, it's my brother. What other excuse can I have? He's
Right.
family." Right? Most people are going to understand it. Are they going to accept it and condone it? Fuck no. But at that point, that's where it's like, obviously you overstepped your bounds. You've clearly shown that you cannot separate, personal from business when it comes to being a journalist. You shouldn't be one. You can go be a
He's a
talk show
journalist?
host somewhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, is like, I use the term loosely in
Yeah.
quotations, but like, fine, go away, go do some Donahue shit. That's, Oprah or whatever.
I love it.
But he's
What's
gonna
up,
get
George?
rehired. I mean,
Hey,
they
how's
always
everybody
do.
doing?
What's
Hi,
up, George? How you doing, buddy?
Scott, Tom, Marc, with the C, Mr. Grand Gregory.
George.
Who's the guy in red? Culture. Hello, everyone.
Hello,
Beautiful
George.
chat.
Hey, what's going on, my
How you
friend?
doing, George?
Oh, and Mad. Hello, Mad.
George, you're up on the times.
Hello, George.
We were just talking about Rumble is going public.
Right.
And they really are. They're coming at YouTube all like full force, and they got a backer that has like a blank check. So that's what I've been reading.
They're trading upward. They traded downward briefly in after hours yesterday, but they're trading upwards in after hours tonight.
Mm-hmm.
So and what's really funny is the trend shows bearish, and I'm looking at the outlook and I'm going, that's not true.
No, not at all. Because they want to. They want to put. I saw. They want to put it out on the street that this is like a risky bet. It's gonna like
Of
just
course.
burn.
Yeah. I started seeing the articles like, oh, is it they're falling? I'm like, oh, great, maybe I can finally get some actual Bitcoin. And now look, I'm like,
Bitcoin.
what are they talking about?
64,000, 65,
Right.
67,000.
Well, when we talk about Rumble, they are also ready. Trump's got his new platform.
Oh, yeah.
Truth. What's it called? Culture. It's Truth. We talked about this last week. Truth. Well,
while you guys think about that, we're going to move on in a minute to pundits and social media's reaction to Chris Cuomo. But I want to play. It's an upcoming show that Matt and I are going to be doing on his channel. So you actually,
is that the one with me in it?
Yeah, you'll see. This will be one of those that you actually you have to find his channel to actually watch us. But we're also going to go into the audio world too. Yep. So let's take a look.
Nice.
Is this the OC thing?
Stop typing, George.
We should do an OC stream.
Dude, we should.
Rewatch.
100%.
The theology of the OC.
Yeah, you can do that.
Boom.
Hooked. All of them got hooked.
California.
Phantom Planet, baby.
California. Important shows to ever grace this earth.
Can I ask? Why were there certain letters in red? Like there was some letters there, like ass and spork.
Oh, like spork.
Bros. Is the
like
ass
mad
spork bros?
Yeah, I kind of felt that too.
Well, Culture, if you had paid attention for the past 9 months, you've been on my channel twice a week. You may have noticed that every time I put Mad Barber Entertainment, Mad is always in red. But
it did go Mad Ass Spork Bros.
yeah. Mad Ass Spork Bros.
Was not on purpose.
Well, y'all are going to do great.
I'm just saying, it seems a little weird to me. Maybe you're trying to send a message to others.
I really wish I picked that up.
You're doing that thing where people like the secret code of the Bible. They look, if you take this letter and add it to this letter and you get a message, the world is ending.
Usually that's how you make words, by adding the letters together.
You know what I mean, George?
Oh, that's George, our theologist or thesaurus.
Theologian.
Well, actually, that's just the Bible, man. So just one more time.
There was actually a book called The Bible Code. That's what I based my joke on.
Did you pick it up in the airport?
Wrong one.
Hold up. Script Doctor wrote you a theme song and you didn't use it? A professional wrote you?
Wait a minute.
No, that's a theme song for this show, I thought.
No.
Yeah, I'm still waiting on he sent it to me once and I haven't seen it since, so I need him to send it to me again. I think it goes to the tune Scotty Doesn't Know, but I got to double check that.
Scotty is a hoe?
Yes, well, that too. That too.
Oh,
all the ladies.
I have a sound effect for this.
What day are y'all going to do it, Scott? I can't wait.
Next Saturday.
It's going to be next Saturday, directly after this show.
Yep.
So y'all going to start with the pilot and then all the way through?
We're going pilot all the way through.
All the way through.
One amazing season and 3 other ones.
Cool.
Oh, come on. That's not fair.
Oh, it was terrible after that, dude, but I still watched it.
Oh, I loved it. Every bit of it.
Yeah.
Isn't it so great that Cuomo got it finally? I know. I hate feeling good about somebody else, but that guy deserved it. Because when I turned against him, I never liked him. But when he came out in the summer of 2020 and said that, whoever said that protests were meant to be peaceful, of course it's justified if you use violence. I'm like, okay.
But real quick, guys, hey, chat, here's the listing of the greatest television series. You have The Wire, The OC, and whatever else you can come up with,
the
guys.
Sopranos first and Deadwood, and
no, The Wire is first. Are you out your mind?
We can all agree the OC's in the top 5.
Top 5.
Yeah,
of all-time great television.
What?
What?
Nope, The Wire.
Did you
the
say
OC.
No.
We just watched the whole trailer for it, Jane.
Yeah, Sopranos, Deadwood.
Yeah, Tina, never seen the OC in my life.
Well, guess what, everybody? Watch episode 1 this week and join us Saturday after Sporking News Podcast.
Oh, it's going to be so much fun.
Right after my vasectomy.
Yeah, well, I already had one, so that's why I'm...
want us to watch a ripoff of 90210 that's...
Whoa, it is not a ripoff. No.
Whoa.
Oh, yeah.
I lived through 90210. This took it to the next level.
Yeah, really? I mean, this is in Orange County, not Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
dumb.
of course.
Is there sex in it? Is that how it's the next?
Yeah, all the time, but only in a 3-block radius. Two people hook up with each other.
Like Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, except instead of a zip code and one.
Hey, can you unmod him now so I can put him in timeout?
No, YetiCast stays as a mod.
Oh, how come they never made a TV show about Compton?
That's right.
Drive by, shoot. I mean, it's very exciting.
You know what? You have a valid point.
Thing, though?
But I want you to know, the young man in the OC. Listen, Sandy Cohen is a public defender.
Sure. Yeah. He do a show, but I'm sorry.
He finds a young man from Chino, kind of on the other side of the tracks, and he brings him to the OC to live with him.
Oh, I did see that show.
And adopts him. Yeah, it's great, isn't it, Jane?
No.
It's
Thank you, Jane. Thank you. No, Marc with a C. They do have a show, and that's half the time in Compton. They do for a long time ago. The Shield.
Oh, I love The Shield, but it didn't take place in Compton.
Half of it, I said half.
I just like to say, Kitty Bear, you're right. He might have sent it to me 3 times.
I watched
but
a
emails.
movie that took
They get
place in
lost.
Compton last week.
Compton.
Menace to Society.
Oh,
I haven't seen that in years. That was a good.
Menace II Society.
AI Society.
You know what? I gotta ask a question. I still have not seen the movie, the biopic about. Oh my God! I was gonna say Public Enemy.
Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah, Straight Outta Compton about Eazy-E and Dr.
Oh,
Dre.
it's amazing, dude.
Well, the first 2 acts are great. I
Yeah.
thought the third one was a little weak. The third act was a little weak. And there are certain things that happened that they did not even
Like I heard they
bring
left
up.
out the domestic violence with Dr. Dre and a lot of other stuff. So
Yeah, Dre.
Yeah.
You know, the whole D Barnes thing, throwing D Barnes down the stairs. I mean, they didn't show any of that stuff, man.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was very disappointed.
it sucks.
Well, they
Yeah.
maybe they're just trying to spin it.
But by the way, don't be a menace to South Central while drinking your pickle juice in the hood. Is it? Yeah, it's still one of the greatest spoofs ever made.
It is. It is.
Which is the
The
one? that
Wayans
you
brothers
said-
were great.
Which is the one that you said, Matt, to watch? Which it was like a football one that was fun.
Blue Mountain State. I started
Oh, that's
rewatching it. Love it. My girlfriend's like, this show is gonna be awful. 5 minutes in, she's laughing her ass off. Why? Because it's a great show. That's number 3. You got The Wire, The OC,
Sopranos first,
and then
then Wire,
then Blue.
Well, let's see what Chris Cuomo had to say. This is not how I wanted my time at CNN to end, but I have already told you why and how I helped my brother. So let me now say, as disappointing as this is, I could not be more proud of the team at Cuomo Primetime and the work we did at CNN's #1 show in the most competitive time slot.
Wow.
But he was only CNN's #1 show. He was he was shit in his own time slot.
Yeah.
I owe them all, and I will miss the group of special people who did really important work. Can I just start with this, and then I'll open it up? These 2 brothers are so self-centered and egotistical. Like, think of all these families that worked for them that now have no jobs, that now have to deal with the fallout from this. And it goes, they just
Wait,
thought about themselves, the Cuomos.
They worked for them? What do you mean?
Well, they had their own teams at CNN. Those people will not just be dispersed throughout CNN. Like, they'll probably, a lot of them will be let go. The governorship, definitely, those people will some of them will be like aides and stuff will be let go. But if they don't have, they will have somebody else. Like, don't get me wrong, they'll have someone fill in, but they will replace people with their own people if someone gets his time slot.
I think the people on the show just work for the network. I don't
know.
I hope Brian gets his time slot.
Like their assistants and their PAs.
Yeah,
Assistant
PAs.
productions. Yeah. I mean, lights, cameras, those guys will stay, but like certain assistants, PAs, people like that, I'm telling you, there will be replacements.
Yeah, I'm hoping that either Brian or Tubin get that time slot.
You mean
Seltzer? Guys!
I don't even know the network's people that well. Who are these people?
Well, there's Brian Seltzer.
Head.
He's like, guys, I'm so heterosexual.
Look at my purse.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
He's like, I'm so mad his muscles are leaving CNN. Bill O'Reilly, Chris Cuomo fired by CNN, but isn't that organization responsible for what happened?
Yeah.
Wait, didn't he get fired too?
He resigned.
Yeah.
Oh, he resigned.
Which is basically they told him, he didn't want to be fired, so he left. Because of that, when they claimed that sexual harassment, that he did something or other to some girl or at the Fox Studios. But then it didn't happen.
Now, Eric Whipple? Eric Whipple, I don't know that. This is a stunning thing for CNN to announce at 5:09 p.m. on a Saturday afternoon. That's what they do.
Eric, that's as soon as they could have done it.
That's when everybody drops bad news.
Yeah.
Come on.
Exactly.
So no one will read it.
This is good news, though.
Where do you think he's going to end up? That's the question.
Yeah.
I think he'll take a hiatus and then he'll end up on another network or talk radio.
MSNBC? Or
No, I don't think he's extreme enough for MSNBC.
What's the bottom of the barrel right now?
I'd like to see him go over to like
Everybody-
Patriot Network or whatever.
Everybody
NBC
thinks to
Nightly
get their own
Network.
platform.
Ooh, he could be on Paramount like that one chick.
Oh God.
I don't think anybody really likes Fredo, so I don't know where he's going to go.
Whoa.
Oh, that's a slur. That's a
Whoa.
slur, sir, against
Which one is that?
Italians.
No, it's just
Not
him.
cool.
He's
No.
Fredo.
Look, I grew up, I am half Italian. I went to school with true, like, second generation Italian kids from Staven, Connecticut.
I love Italians.
You could say Fredo was not a racist or a racist term. It is freaking making fun of somebody for being a sellout.
Right.
For being a rat. That's all you're
And for
saying.
being a wuss. Remember when he's like, that guy picked on me, and then they had the undercover video where he's like all buffed out and he's like, get away. It's like, you're worried about him.
You guys, y'all didn't see him dunk?
Oh yeah, the dunk on a 9-foot hoop he said was 10 feet.
10. Yeah, it was 10 feet.
Yeah,
10 feet.
He's a piece of crap. All right, I don't even want to talk about him anymore. I'm so done with that guy. You know what I do want to talk about is Seth Rogen, because he is really pissing me off.
Oh, yeah. Satan Inc. Huh?
Did anybody see
Netflix.
Santa Inc?
Absolutely not.
Yes.
I did. I watched the whole damn
Oh
thing.
my God.
Okay, I was waiting for
did fucking
Jane to
read.
say it. I was waiting for Jane because Jane did a review. Guys, please check out that review after this show. Jane, can you start? Let us know what you thought.
Utter trash. Like, I don't even understand how high they were when they came up with this. Like, they were on new drugs, because this was just insanity. None of it made any sense. Random things were just thrown in. I was going to do like a top 10, like, most cringe things.
Right.
But it was just, I just couldn't do it.
Was there
Looks-
too many?
That much. Yeah, pretty much every scene.
Looks like we know who the white supremacist is on the panel.
Yeah.
Clearly.
And George, you saw it?
Yeah, awful.
What did you think?
Satan Inc. is what I call it. I mean, it's just, it was
That's
so.
That's what they were going for. I'm
Yeah, there
sure
was
of it.
there was
Satanic.
no redeeming qualities. Yeah, satanic. There was just nothing redeeming about it. Even the bad jokes were really bad. I
But
mean,
did they have satanic?
no.
Any
come
undertones?
on.
I guess it's just Seth Rogen swearing a lot.
Yeah, it basically to me is like a really bad version of Animal House crossed with Pineapple Express. Again, bad versions with strippers. I don't know.
Well, even Pineapple Express was barely good.
Oh, I know.
I mean, who wants to see elf claymation boots? It's like,
all I can say is Pineapple Express to me is the worst stoner movie
I barely
ever.
got through the trailer of this, and I'll tell you right now, here's my issue with Seth Rogen, other than the obvious, right? Like, he doesn't understand what really is funny.
Right.
Okay. He drives a joke into the ground until it's not funny anymore. Like I said before, like with that whole what was that supermarket one he did, the wiener one,
Sausage Fest.
Sausage
Yeah.
Fest, right? I said that only works as a short film because once the joke is given away in the trailer that it's a kid's movie but it's an adult movie, it's gone, it's over with. Once you've heard the F word 15 times within the first 5 minutes of the movie, the joke is over.
Right.
Yeah, it's always better, Mark. I don't know if you think this too. Like when they like hold the F, like real good swears for like a great moment, like you're not ready for it, like a grandma doing it or something. You know what I mean? This guy, he started out in Freaks and Geeks, Seth Rogen, and he got he got hooked up with some very talented
guys
people
like Judd Apatow and Paul Feig.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah,
you know, do you like anything he's in?
Absolutely not. Never
I've
found
only
him
liked
funny
a few
at all.
things.
I've never gotten
Sarah Silverman, also, you know, her voice.
I really like the
fucking
interview.
drives me crazy.
Yeah,
You know, this is just some evil shit, man. You know, as a parent, there are so many things. As a parent, there are so many things that I've always tried to protect my son from. You know, I know, like, you know, that there's like a group of kids somewhere who's going to get access to this,
Right.
Yep.
you know, and just be watching it and everything. Just one more thing that you have to protect. And I think they do this type of thing on purpose because I do believe that these people are evil.
Yes.
I do believe that. You know, they're just not trying to be funny. They're trying to actually, like, just mess up the world.
Yep.
Is what they exist to do. They're cynical. They're mean-spirited. And, you know, they're a danger. You know, when they do stuff like this. I know there's a lot of people like, lighten up. It's just fun. No, I've seen the way things like this do corrupt children. It only takes one kid. One kid. You know, everyone's thinking about, you know, whoever enjoys it or whatever, but just one person can see this, one impressionable
Change them
person.
all and change them.
And you do this in the style of a child's holiday special.
Yeah.
That's what they're coming after.
That's just devious, man.
Clearly. Right.
What do
Like
you-
I said, that's the whole thing with like the Sausage Fest. It only works for a few minutes. If you did it as a short film, fine, that's clever. You do it as a 90-minute film, you're right. Exactly, Mark. It's to pull in kids, and you got to think about it for a minute. Like the ratio, I'm assuming most of the guys on the panel here are same age as me, except for Jane, because she's like 20. But like, when we were younger, the ratio to actual adult cartoons to kids cartoons was like 100 to 1.
What was an adult one then?
Yeah, I don't even think like
Heavy
they barely
metal.
like King of the Hill.
I was just
The
about to say that.
Simpsons.
Heavy metal.
Beyond my age group. But my point is, when I was a kid, like to even be able to see things like Heavy Metal or Fritz the Cat, oh shit, like there was no way you're getting your hands on them. And even if you watch them in comparison to some of this stuff, it's tame. And not only that, at least there's context for the adult content. Here, like I said with Sausage Fest, I tried watching it. The first 5 minutes, all it is F words. And it's like, this is supposed to be fun, and dick jokes, and it's like, okay, we've got it now. You seriously going to carry this same 3 jokes on for the next 90 minutes? And I'm assuming that's what this fucking
That's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did, Thomas. Like they have that one scene in the trailer where you have the one elf talking to Sarah Silverman, where she's like, bitch this, bitch that, bitch. But that actually continues. They beat that to death.
Yeah.
I think Jane made the point that isn't that like a stereotype or a stereotypical characterization that they're using for that?
Yes.
With the neck rolling and all that stuff.
Reindeer with the gold chain and all that. I was like, oh my god.
So you pointed out an elf getting shot by a cop, I think you said?
Yeah.
See, that's some bullshit, man. You know what I mean? It's exploitation. Nobody needs to see that.
Well, Mark, let me ask a question, because these are the same groups of people that say like a straight man can't play a gay character anymore. You have to apologize if you ever did before. And I'm sorry to say this, we have 2 people right here. They don't have children, and they're both of Jewish descent, but they're playing a Catholic, like a Christian idea of Santa Claus, and they're warping it.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, so
that's the thing that really pissed me off too. It's like you're shitting on somebody else's tradition.
Yes.
Somebody else's belief.
But they did it purposely.
I don't think the correct route would be to try to use their own BS against them. Now I don't even curse.
But you have to call the hypocrisy.
Yeah, of course, right.
Hypocrisy. I mean,
Mark is right.
We've seen a constant attack on Christianity. Several years
now,
now.
if we turned around and made a comedy about Hanukkah as well,
we'd be destroyed.
We'd be destroyed.
Oh, Ramadan? Could you imagine if we did it for Ramadan? Oh my god!
And not only that, going off
lose their heads.
More of the point with what Mark and I were saying is like this is a little different than even then when we were kids, because like for us to seek out and find something like Heavy Metal or Fritz the Cat, you would either have to have cable,
right, a scrambler,
find it in the woods,
have video store, and actually be able to get your hands on it, or have somebody who actually had the copy of it.
Yep.
This is on fucking Netflix, where kids can just turn it on and hit play.
Yeah,
and Mark was saying, it's just like the cigarette thing with Joe Camel. What kid is not going to see that and go, "Oh, it's an animated holiday special"? Click.
Yeah.
There are parents aren't going to think shit.
But aren't there are like control, like parental
only
controls.
If you set up,
how many people
really
fucking use them though, man?
And it's also a part of a much larger.
Yeah, that's what they would say.
I hate to say conspiracy, but it's a part of a larger plan, because even the cartoons and animated series that are made for children still have a lot of the same themes in them.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Jane is correct, and so is Mark. I would say, going along with that, they're trying to infiltrate it. It's on HBO Max. I turned it on the other day.
I'm sorry.
Right, no problem. I was just going to say
difference, though.
Right, no, it's the same. My point is I was writing up a video and I just left it on all day. I wanted to see how many times the commercial came. For some reason, it changed today, but yesterday it played a couple of times an hour. Now, I sometimes have my nieces over, my cousins over, and you don't pay attention when you're working. You're like, hey, okay, I'll be right back, watch TV. It's geared towards the kids. It's geared towards the kids to sneak in there going, oh, the parents are asleep. Let's go watch it. Oh, my God. To crack the little jokes. There's lots of little memes that kids can use, which are so destructive.
Yes.
One more point on that, too, is that cable isn't like it used to be.
Oh,
and
no.
all of these channels are apps now.
Yeah.
So they're very accessible to kids. They don't have to sneak around. They can just click on it.
Yeah, you're right.
And
Jim.
most kids know how to get around parental blocks better than a parent can get into them, right? Like, that's the other problem.
Yeah, because even if you block it, if they have a sleepover somewhere,
Yep.
those kids got it. You know, like I said, I've been chasing these kids around for years. I know what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? So it's like people who do shit like this, they're like the enemy, man, because they just make it tougher for everybody. Then you got to deal with that stuff in real life when you hear them repeating certain things or, you know, watching certain things. You know, it's just like I said.
So then what's the solution? Like, well, what should the response be then? Like, should anything be done about it?
The only thing that can be is us calling it out, Mark, right? Educate our own children and be vigilant on what when my oldest daughter was much younger, I would set her up with some YouTube channels and she would watch 60 minutes of baby something and like Coco Melon or something like that. And, you know, it would automatically start to change her. And I had to keep an eye on that because there are some technically children ones that are teaching kids how to be bad.
Right. Well, that's where the opposite came in, or Copa, or whatever the hell.
Yeah.
And nobody you have to call it for what it is. You know, I have talks since the day my son was born. I've had talks with him about what's out here.
Yes.
You know, and how so much of this stuff that you see out here is made to take you where you don't want to go.
Right. Take away your childhood.
Right.
You know, and then people wonder what happens, you know, what's going on with the school shootings, what's going on with the bullying and stuff.
Suicides.
Suicides. People don't talk about that. Yep. You know, all this stuff that's being thrown at these kids every day, all day.
Right.
So you as a parent, or we as parents, have to talk to them all the time. I'm not talking about finger wagging and stuff, but just having conversations with them, you know,
educating.
Not only that, notice the big movement is, you know, people getting their own space, right? Like, no, I disagree with that. If a kid is under the age of, say, like 16, no, as a parent, it's your job to be all up in their grill and understanding what they're fucking
18.
doing. 18 probably more so. But I mean, a teenager at that point, I guess,
you're
a little bit of privacy. But I will argue that yes, you're right, George. And as a father of a disabled son, especially, like, I really had to keep an eye on a lot of shit because he's easily taken advantage of, right? As most kids are, but even more so because of his disability, it made him even more naive and trusting in ways that most people wouldn't be, and he wouldn't see the red flags and signals that some people normally would. But that's the thing, is we're stuck in a world now where, like, you know, that's where I came up with that one script idea about, you know, kids going into the woods because there's supposed to be a cabin full of porno and they find out it's just a tree trunk with a Playboy in it. But that's the whole point, is when we were kids, to even come across porn or anything like that was like, oh my God, we found the holy fucking grail.
I found one.
Nowadays, all kids got to do is flip on his phone.
They see some twisted shit.
About sex, next thing you know, you're taking fucking notes by the end of the conversation.
I think
Go ahead, man.
Oh, I was just gonna say they don't have to earn anything anymore. Like we had to earn our porn. You know what I mean?
Yes, I found my first one in the woods.
Yeah, absolutely.
I found mine in my uncle's bathroom hidden. I thought I had found like the
Holy Grail,
the Lost Ark of the Covenant. I was like, he saw me. He's like, "Why you found my fucking magazine?" I'm like,
real quick, guys. Real quick, hold on.
Good money.
65 people. We had 70 just a second ago. This chat is on fire. Thank you all for being here. Hit that like button, share it out, because that's the only way this platform will let us grow. So thank you guys really for the support. Make sure you subscribe to everybody. Without you guys, it's just us talking to ourselves. So I thank you. I really do. I want to read a little bit of this and see what he had to say.
Before you do, can I just say it feels so good being violated. Hold on. I meant to say validated with the whole finding porn in the woods, because I've said it on other panels and they're like, "What are you talking about, weirdo?"
Oh no,
I'm like, this is a thing.
Here's the thing. I want to make one point about that though. It's interesting that you guys are talking about kids' interest in sex at all, because with what's happening in society today, it's weird that they're sort of being made to feel guilty for that. They're made to feel guilty for being heterosexual, right?
Yep.
They're being made to feel guilty about
if they're boys,
masculine, if they're a boy, or feminine, if they're a girl. You do see this attempt to sort of change or manipulate human natural urges that are instinctive to us.
Yep. Jane is right. I think there's one thing it's doing that both Jane mentioned and then Tom was saying is the space thing. I think I think along with this, but I think part of their agenda is to separate children from their parents to create their
Yes.
child.
Yes.
It's not to take that regular rebellion that happens in teen years, but to turn it into an enemy where the parent and the kid are an enemy. Because think about it, from school to Seth Rogen shit on TV.
Yep.
They take sex to grab their curiosity in their mind, hold their attention while they fill it full of an agenda. And then they turn around, your parent, you're sitting here going, hey, this isn't for you.
Let me just say this, okay? And then I'm going to ask Marc a question. Look, we had people are like, oh, they're children. It doesn't affect them as much. Children were turning in their own parents in 1930s Germany.
Oh, God, yeah.
They were turning in their own parents. Kids are so dumb. They're so dumb. They will believe anything somebody tells them. And usually they want to believe the person that's not their parent.
Right. Not just that, just go to the libs of TikTok or whatever to see what effect this is having on these kids. I mean, yeah, we laugh at a lot of them, but
it's horrible.
It's a mental disorder at this point. It's a forced mental disorder because there's so much confusion, and you know, I would hate to be, you know, as a commentator or whatever you want to call it, I'm already enough afraid of what the fuck I say. If I was a kid in high school right now, my God, would I be deathly afraid of what I said wrong or would say wrong, right? Because next thing you know, I'm killed. You know, my whole reputation's killed. I might as well go kill myself.
Yeah,
that goes right back to what you guys were saying before.
Well, think about bullying now. Bullying's 24/7 because you can't just go home and get away from it. It could be online too. But say what you want to say, Matt, and then I'm gonna.
Okay, no. It's important to remember. Like, there's no even if you're not 18, they will save it until you're about to go to college and be like, hey, look at this video. So you use the N-word while rapping to a song, right? And now you're done.
Yeah, that kid you're talking about in high school. Yeah,
and it's not just her. Like, it happens to kids all the time.
Wait a minute, like, what happened?
A kid. Tell it, Matt.
Well,
you know.
Yeah. So this chick, she's singing along. I don't even know what song it was, but she dropped the N-bomb with the rapper. And then there was a video going around. Somebody kept it until she applied to a college. Forgot what college was, and then he released it.
Right. But she was just singing a song and it had the word in it, which I would never repeat. I'd always be like, now you know.
Right, but no, she was in a party with teens in the car. They were all singing, except the dude clipped it and sent it in, and they basically said, you're not the material that we want.
That's messed up, man.
I think she had a scholarship too.
And that's happening to kids quite a bit
You're
too.
right, Matt,
Like, we can't tell them enough not to post stuff on social media, but at the same time, adults who run these colleges and universities should understand the kids are going to be kids.
Right.
Like, no one ever made a mistake before. Well, this is another question I have. Like,
thank God I wasn't recorded.
Oh, same here. I would prison. Let me just say this. Like, I am a parent.
A lot of the crap I did was on camera. That's why I'm here. So.
Yeah. Community service.
That's a stream for another night. But like, as a parent, like I went in it. I have 3 kids. My oldest is almost 8, and I need to remind them every once in a while that I am not your friend. I'm your dad. We can have fun, and I love you more than anybody will ever love you. Me and your mother love you more than anyone, but I am not here to be your buddy. We'll be friends when you're 30. That's what I tell them.
Yep. Just because I love you does not mean I like you.
You have to buy me pot, son.
But do we have right, exactly. But do we have enough of that going around right now?
I think it's starting a resurgence, especially with the virus. If you notice the rate of homeschooling, you went from 5 million, I believe it was 2 years ago. It's now up to 10. So all the parents, because when they started seeing what their kids were learning at school, because they weren't paying attention, but then when you have little Johnnies at home and they're like doing the Zoom class, and then mom's like, what the fuck did she just tell you to do?
Yeah,
like, they freak out.
Yeah, but how many of these parents though, George, got re-educated by their kids though?
I agree.
Who the fuck listens to it? Their kids.
You'd be fucking surprised.
Yes,
man.
Yeah. Tom is right. Kids today wield a lot of power. I mean, there was a friend of my cousin. She told her mom she didn't want to be disciplined. She'd call CPS. That the teacher told her. We're not talking like beat her. Her mom said time out. She says that's emotional abuse. I'm calling CPS.
Try to take my kid. Try to get in my life.
I don't know, man. If like she says something like that, okay, please. Like, I think we need time apart.
It's crazy. Forbidden Ruin says in 2021, kids were turning in their parents for January. January. Yeah. Even when the parents weren't in DC, they called the feds and they got snatched up.
Yeah. The term I have for the generation that came up here is the "fuck you, mom." kids.
Yes.
They tell their mom "fuck you," and they don't get any discipline whatsoever.
I almost got choked out once for that.
If you ever even said anything close to that, you're
never even thought about doing it.
I get a boomerang. I get a Greek boomerang house shoe across the head.
Italian. I don't know about Greek kids, but Italian kids, I got wooden spoons.
Right.
And she would break them. And like when I finally got old enough, I laughed. She turned to a metal ladle. Okay, so like
we got the
that
shoe.
was called discipline.
Yeah,
You remember the paddle with the ball and the string? And as soon as that ball came off that paddle,
Irish grandmas use switches.
That's for sex, man.
And if you didn't go out and pick a big enough switch and you made her do it, oh shit!
You're like poor Michael Jackson.
My pops was a cop. You know what I mean?
Oh wow!
And he had a big ass utility belt that would make Batman jealous. And the way my pops would swing that belt, boy. Wow.
Oh, Dad!
You only had
Indiana Jones with that shit.
Yeah. We only had a couple of times to feel that before we got in line.
You learned it quick, right? You learned it quick.
Yeah, very quick.
My dad would use a belt too. Yeah.
We got 70 people up in here, guys. Thank you so much. Everybody hit that like button, share it out. Please subscribe. I want to read a little bit of what Seth Rogen said, even though I can't stand him, but let's hear what he had to say. Seth Rogen says his HBO, I fucking hate how he laughs. Max series Santa Inc. has pissed off tens of thousands of white supremacists. That word means nothing. That word means nothing anyway.
Right, of course.
New show for
thousands. Like, honestly, if it wasn't the nowadays, I would think he was kidding.
Right.
Because tens of thousands, like seriously, dude.
He thinks highly of himself, doesn't he, Matt?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so the problem though is like, one, I don't know if you've ever met. Well, I've never met a white supremacist, and I lived an hour away from Casper, Texas. You know what I mean?
One in my whole life.
Like, I saw one outside of Punxsutawney, Pennsylvania.
One of the scariest motherfuckers I ever met in my life. I will tell you that right now.
But I mean, how active do you think white supremacists like these,
they're not that on social media? 8 to 10,000 in the whole country, according to the Fed.
I think that's too high. I think that's high.
I still think that's pretty high. Yeah.
I'm just saying, out of 330 million, that's not even a blip.
Exactly.
Well, right. That actually believe they're white supremacists. I would say it's a low number too. There are people that have issues, and it goes higher than that.
I tell you, this is probably growing though.
Well, that's what scares me about the environment we're in.
Yeah.
Just like when Democrats go too left, you start to create more conservatives. When you start calling everybody the name under the book, they start to become those names under that. You know what I mean? So like, I worry about that. But new show currently has a 3% average audience score on Rotten Tomatoes and a 1.1 out of 10 on IMDb rating.
Yeah.
Seth Rogen, it's ridiculous. Seth Rogen says his new adult stop motion TV series, Santa Inc., isn't a hit with the white supremacist demographic. I didn't even know it was a demographic.
I didn't even know they were that was what they were aiming for.
Yeah. What is that guy sitting on? Oh, Kimball looks like he has. All right. Anyways, the hot dog thing. We really pissed off tens of thousands of white supremacists with our new show, #Santa Inc., which is now available on HBO Max. Please read the responses for his tweet for confirmation. Rogen tweeted at 4:32 p.m. At the launch of the series. So this was at the day of the series launch.
I want to go through all of them.
Yeah. Well, he plays Santa Claus. Sarah Silverman plays Candy Smalls, an intrepid elf who will do anything to be named as the first female Santa, even if she has to fight like a man to get it, per HBO Max official description. So, like, isn't that sexist to say fight like a man?
Yeah, but it's like it's like where you have some of the third wave feminists who say, I hate the patriarchy. And then you go, okay, do you like anything in life? They're like, well, yeah, I actually like something in life. Do you have a job? They're like, yeah, I have a job. Well, why don't you quit your job? What do you mean, why don't I quit my job? Isn't everything due to the patriarchy? They're like, yeah. So your job is due to the patriarchy. Yeah. Why don't you quit it? Because I don't want to. I mean, none of that shit ever makes sense.
Right.
It's just because they do it. It's that postmodernist thinking where if it makes sense for me today, I'll agree with it. If it doesn't make sense tomorrow, I'll say something different. That's...
And they also hate men, but want to turn women into men. That's bizarre.
Yep.
Yeah. Why is that? They make, and Jane, I cannot not see it anymore ever since you pointed it out to me. But they make black men, if they're not like deadbeat dads or hooligans or this or that,
flaming gay.
They're flaming gay, and they make strong larger black women, angry, manly black women, but all the light skinned, prettier women are the more feminine, I do it myself because I'm all woman model. Like if you didn't point that out to me, I would not. It's in everything, Jane. It's in everything.
And now they're on this thing where every black person is a thief, like in every new project. And I'm just like, what is happening?
Noble thief, get it right.
Yeah, like Ironheart will be a noble thief, Mark.
I've actually been noticing something in a lot of movies, like as of late, is that they no longer write them as real people, but people who you see in movies. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like everything that
like
they
caricatures.
do,
everything's a caricature now.
Yep.
Right. I've really noticed it in the Suicide Squad. All the people that worked for whatever her name was. Like, I'm like, that's not how people would
that was
react.
On purpose, though. I get what you're saying, Matt. I don't know if that's the best example, but
it's the first one that came to mind because I just really noticed. I'm like, but that's how they think people are supposed to act in movies.
Well, I would just say that Suicide Squad is more stylized,
Right.
Like,
well, I'm just talking about the people that worked for whatever her name was in the office, like the computer people.
I didn't understand, Scott. Were you saying that Jane was saying that every black man?
Well, Jane.
No, I didn't know that they portray him as gay. I didn't know.
Dude, watch
Gay or
this.
super
Non-threatening.
feminine or
Yes.
non-threatening. That's the
Non-threatening. That's a great word for it. They want them
if
to
you're
seem
a dark-skinned
non-threatening.
black male in the show or movie, you're going to be as non-threatening as possible. And one way to do that is make you sexually ambiguous.
Yes.
Wow.
great
And with
example of
women,
Black
particularly
Widow.
dark-skinned black women, they make them super masculine. And it's
Super
just-
masculine.
Do you think, Jane, this happened, or Mark? Do y'all think, or anyone else? Do y'all think this happened during Trump's era, or is this something in the last year?
With respect to black women, it's been the thing to do for a while now.
Okay.
But with respect to black men, I'm not sure. I only just started to notice.
It's more recent
Jane,
with black men.
I don't think. Think
But
about
like,
go
a
back.
great example of what you guys are talking about was Black Widow with the guy who was helping out her through the whole movie, like how non-threatening he was, even though he obviously liked her, but he was never gonna do any. He was never threatening, right?
Right.
Like he was always just in buddy zone.
Right.
And
Well,
otherwise,
It's been that way for a very long time.
Please
For
let
a
me know,
very-
Mark.
You have yet to see an accurate depiction of black men and black women on screen. You have yet to see that. Hollywood is a lie.
Right.
You know?
Mark,
and unfortunately, go on.
No. I was just going to ask you because you're pursuing a thread. I need everybody to hear.
So I'm going to interrupt and ask a question.
No,
Shut up. Leave him alone.
Man. Jesus Christ.
Leave him alone.
He's been quiet for a while. Leave him alone, man.
Mark, what is the closest that they've ever been with that? Have they ever been close to an accurate depiction of a even a healthy relationship in a black family?
Cisco?
It's very hard to say because Hollywood is so much into I guess control of images. So it's kind of hard to say, especially with with black people, like where the influence of Hollywood stops and what real life for black people where it begins.
Right.
We went through the blaxploitation era, and people took up that lingo. Like in hip hop, it's the same way. Depending on what the trend is, that's the way we'll be talking. That's the way we'll be acting. You see a lot of like the effeminate. Black men who are out here, hip hop is kind of turned that way.
Yo, God,
with Lil Nas X.
Yeah, man.
Back in the day, it's like nobody would be walking around with tight ass skinny jeans on and all that stuff.
Like
but this is what you
Nads couldn't fit.
Yeah.
For me, I think
This
the
is what you
closest thing
see.
was probably like the Cosby Show in a different world.
But that's all I could think. Different world.
To me, that was an ideal, and I loved it.
Yes.
Absolutely loved it.
A Different World's one of my favorite
But
shows.
But at the time, the Cosby Show got criticized by a lot of black people for being unrealistic.
They did, and I never understood that because I'm like, that is closer to my life.
I love the
than
Cosby Show.
Other stuff that where everybody was,
I thought I heard
incredibly
some
bored.
arguments coming that it was more of a whitewashed version or
But
something.
but you know why? Because they could not understand the realism of black intelligence.
I agree with
Like,
you.
these
I
kids
just
have
yeah.
families together, kids going to
Ooh,
college.
good way of putting it.
Black art on the wall, music.
Yeah.
I love
and
the jazz
also
aspect
the
of it.
non-threatening thing you were talking about too, Jane. It's like that non-threatening thing. That's very real as well. I actually talked about on a video before. You guys, some of you might know. It's like I'm I'm 6'5", and a half, I'm dark skinned dude. It's like, my whole life I've had to deal with speaking just normally like anybody, and the attitude that you get from some people if you speak a little bit louder. Oh my God.
Right.
Oh my God.
Right.
I had somebody, I mean, this is like a daily thing. I'd hate to see you in a dark alley. Like, what the fuck, dog? Get over yourself. You know what I mean? I'm existing.
Do you ever play sports? That's the thing. I always say, did you ever play sports? Because your attitude goes out the way. See, and that's the problem. I honestly believe people.
What about Fresh Prince and the depiction of on there as the black family? How did you guys feel like that was?
Very entertaining, But I didn't see. I don't watch shows like that to see realism.
Right.
So to speak. Like because a lot of what we talk about is like we don't need to see us up on screen all the time,
Well, I just asked because
entertainment.
But to me, it's not about seeing us so much as it's about seeing diversity of the characters instead of
the three characters
stereotypes.
That's the thing. It's like, I was going off of what you guys were just saying before, because I wish we could show it, but NBC would strike us down now. But there was a famous Saturday Night Live skit.
Eddie Murphy
and Louis Gossett Jr.
Yes,
I know you're
great
talking
one.
It's a great skit, and somebody
I'll play it
recently on Twitter. But NBC will take us down, man.
Literally close
us down. Yeah,
all right. We'll do it at the very end.
I did want to point out about the Black Widow actor. Keep in mind, I think he was biracial.
Yes,
and that there is that distinction as well. That's always existed in media.
Right.
Sure. Well, here's a question I have. Did y'all see Tropic Thunder?
That was hilarious.
Did y'all see how a lot of people have started to ask a question about it in the last? It's been about 8 weeks. It comes and goes. Like, could Robert Downey Jr. play that role today? And isn't that now considered to be the height of racism? And
well, no, because there's people that are like, oh my God, why hasn't anyone talked about Robert Downey Jr. during blackface? Like they've never seen it before.
Because he's the only one who could get away with it. Yes. He's the only one who could get away with it, man.
Not only that, but he didn't play the role like he was mocking somebody.
No.
You know what I mean? Nope. Like they act like we're just so damn stupid that we can't tell the difference between when someone is being disrespectful. Right. Back in the day, it was mama. You know what I mean? That's not what he was doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, the joke was like stupid he was, and he didn't realize how dumb it was to go to that extent. Yeah,
he was such a crazy method actor. He couldn't understand why. My favorite line of that whole movie is like, "What do you mean? Them, or is it us? What do you mean us? What do you mean
you
us?
people?
Oh yeah,
you
people. That's it. What do you mean, you people?
I think what happens is every time anyone lumps people into groups, they think that group is stupid.
Yeah,
well, because like we're everyone's trying to define people by such limited amount of just such limited traits or whatever. Like a lot of my music comes from my stepdad. Like I love Curtis Mayfield. I love Zapp and Roger.
Yeah,
but I shit you not, dude. He would sing along with No Doubt's "I'm Just a Girl." I don't know why it would come on MTV, but you know what I mean. He was 6'5". He was a basketball player in college. By the way, that's why I learned very quickly I am not made for basketball whatsoever. Yeah. I still shoot like this because I'm always having to shoot around him. Yeah. But
great story.
Thank you.
Hey,
but the point is, though,
point. Okay.
No, right. It's like I was trying to think. I'm like, have I ever seen someone depicted in a movie or TV that would represent my stepdad? And no, because there's just so many different little things about him that don't line up with your cookie cutter, portrait of what a black guy is supposed to be or is not.
I don't like that, because what ends up happening is that you're just that black guy. It's like, I don't know how many streams I've been on where people will just say, oh, that guy, that black guy. You know what I mean? It's like, dog, it's like you should be looking at individuals. Right. My favorite character in the whole world is Captain Kirk. All right. Yeah. Now people will be like, oh my God, how he's not even black. I'm attracted to the fact that he will not lose. Right. Whatever it takes to win. Ever since I was a child, I love that characteristic.
Hell yeah.
You know what I mean? I've incorporated that to be able to smile and smirk in the face of danger. You know what I mean?
Amen, man.
It's like I love it. But the way it is today, they want to put everybody into their little categories.
Yeah.
And that's what cheats us all out of the richness of humanity.
Yep.
You know,
They don't know what else to do. They have no ability to create individual original characters anymore, it seems.
No.
It's like you have to fast track it, and the only way to do that is through stereotyping.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the other problem is they've even telegraphed their issue with, like, the example with He-Man. They said that Andrew was originally.
Oh, your video, dude. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but Andre in your video is awesome. I listened to it today. It was really good.
You know, she's supposed to be an original character, but they're like, oh, they were afraid the audience couldn't connect with her if they weren't somebody they knew. It's like, wait a minute. So you're saying that just because she's black, the audience couldn't connect with her, but now if you're changing into a character that already pre-existing that wasn't, supposedly the audience is going to connect with her.
Yeah,
exactly what they feel.
It makes no sense. It makes no sense. You know, like one of my favorite characters, yes, he's white, but he's also blind, is Daredevil. I love Daredevil. But you know why? Because he overcame a disability. It won't stop him. Even though people look at him and judge him by how he looks, they don't realize the power that's underneath. I thought that was a, I don't know the term I'm thinking of, but it could be used for almost any situation. You know, even kind of what you were just saying, Mark, the black guy on the panel, well, they're looking at you like that, but they don't see what's really underneath. Is someone who's powerful, someone who's intelligent, someone who has feelings. You know, like the first time I watched one of your videos, I'm going to say it again. You're talking about your son. I teared up, like, because I connected with you, not because you're a black man, because you're another human being that I could be like, wow, that's me. That's me right there. That's me. That's what we need to see more of. Not connecting of I see myself as the color of this or gender of this person, but I see the feeling of that person. That's what we need more of.
Well, and that's a great thing that I'm glad Mark brought that up, because like growing up, you know, my favorite movie star was Eddie Murphy.
Hell yeah.
My favorite musician was Michael Jackson.
Oh,
Not
yeah,
once did I ever think
Jackson.
about the fact that both of them were black until way later in life, when it was things that were, you know, that kind of stuff was brought out and all talked about and stuff all the time. But like at that point when growing up, everybody loved Eddie Murphy's movies, right? Like everybody listened to Michael Jackson. I mean, he's the king of pop.
Yeah.
So real quick, in the military, if you ever lived near a military base, if you go to the mall, you're gonna see the weirdest people in a group, right? You're gonna see a guy that's like all goth. You're gonna see a hick, and you know what I mean, and just this whole mixture, because all day, every day, for however long they've been there, they're always in uniform, so they do not really, they don't even the interactions and the connections or whatever aren't made based on how they look or how they're presented, because you're all wearing the same thing. So you actually have connections that are based on who you are.
You mean
not how you
of character? Yeah, that's
right.
That's how it's supposed to.
It's crazy. If you've ever been to a mall near a base, you'll see it. Like you'll see like how did these people become friends? And it's because of the military.
Yeah,
that's how, you know, I used to say back in the day that, you know, when all of this first started, the YouTube stuff and fandom menace, you know, I always used to say they're fucking with the wrong fandom. Yeah. And it wasn't because, yo, we're just gonna come beat you up. No, it's because all of us have stories like this. You know what I mean? So when I started seeing them come in saying we need more black characters, we need more gay characters, we need more women characters, I'm like, no, we've already been through all of that.
Yes.
You know, we watched Star Trek The Next Generation. It's like we watched all of these things that always had these things. They always explored issues of sexuality, you know, and race and all of that stuff. We have evolved through that. So when these so-called creatives came in and said, you know what, we need a gay Superman, bullshit. You know what I mean? No, we don't, because we already know how to be attracted to character. You know, content of character. We have mastered that. So when they came in with that stuff, yeah, man. Oh my God,
I mean, it goes back to them being creatively bankrupt. Come up with your own character. I don't mind more characters. The more, the better. I'm personally getting tired of seeing the same thing over and over again.
They're destroying yours for a reason, Jane. They're destroying the things that you love for a reason. Right? They want to give a generation all of this twisted bullshit so that they can continue to point it out, so that kids are subjected to this twisted bullshit for the rest of their existence because they are twisting it up. They can't do it with their own stuff. They've tried. They did. They were not successful. Everybody rejected it. I mean, look at what happened with the Marvel comics, and now they're going to make those bankrupt.
Yeah.
Let me read this.
brought this up
Let me
last
read
week.
this real quick before I lose Tommy's. Tommy and the Guinea Pig Collective for $4.99, doing a hell of a job tonight. Boogering news tissue cat. Yeah, I have a commercial we might show later that none of the geeks and gamers people that I interviewed told me I had a booger in my nose while they stood right next to me. So I'm looking at you, drunk 3PO.
That's
I just wanted to say like culture makes a good point, but I think that there's another.
The Drunk 3PO.
There's another
That's a
aspect
dope
to it.
shirt.
It's about dismantling masculinity because they're not able to achieve it. If you look at the people who are behind the writers and stuff like that, they're really just trying to break it down because they're never able to achieve it. And I went last week. I went into the book, Wild at Heart and all that BS. But I do think like there's multiple reasons why people are attacking specifically masculine characters, and I think it's because they can't relate to it because they don't think that they would ever be able to achieve that level of being masculine. So rather than trying to better themselves, like what Plato talked about, like you have your idols are like as high as possible so you can never reach it, so you're continuously growing. Rather than do that, we're going to knock them down as far as we can, so maybe we'll be able to pass.
No, you're right, Matt. In a way, it's like taking away competition, right? It's so that there's always this even playing field for those who can never do as well as the other one. But that's not the point. Like that goes into the whole thing with like why trans people shouldn't be allowed to compete in women's sports. There's good reasons for that, right? Like that's exactly.
Have you watched the MMA fights? Holy
exactly.
Yeah.
No, of course you would be mad, but I mean, no, it goes to the whole point. Like true racism was back in the day when they wouldn't let anybody who wasn't white play sports because they were afraid of the competition.
True.
That was done and taken care of so long ago. Like that's what the thing is a lot of these people nowadays, they want to pretend like they're discovering something. It's like, sorry, Christopher Columbus, Leif Erikson was already here 20, 30 years ago.
Here's the problem.
We've already done this shit, right?
The problem is that what they're doing, here's the problem. The racism hasn't gone anywhere. They're still exhibiting it. They're just doing it in such a way that it's more subtle and people don't see it until it's actually pointed out. They're the ones who are doing it.
Right.
I mean, there's a reason why, like we've just talked about, how black men are portrayed, how black women are portrayed, particularly dark-skinned black women. That is racist, and it's intentional, and it's woven into our media. And it has been for some time. It hasn't gone anywhere. It's just they're taking advantage of it in a different way and wrapping it in such a way that it's hard to criticize now because they are on the left and they're progressive and all of this. Like when we criticize Finn's character and how he was treated.
Right.
And their response is, well, I mean, he's black, right? And
but he's
in
femme.
Star Wars. Yeah, you should be happy. Like, why aren't you happy?
He's a
That's
simp.
a waste, man. That was such a great opportunity.
He could have been freaking amazing, man. Think about not even just because he was a black character. He was, and someone on the Empire side or the First Order side that actually was now on our side, and just the idea of all the mind control they used on him, all the programming that he would have to break. They had such like a story right there, there with a great actor.
I cannot believe that the public would follow him, would support him, would identify with him.
They're the racists.
Exactly.
They are.
Yeah, because he approached the character like he talks about it. He went in being very serious. JJ's like, nah, you got to be the funny guy.
Right. Leftists have always been throughout history. They've always been that way. They use identity politics to bring everyone together in order to divide them. Once they achieve their objectives, the first thing they turn on are all the people who help them because they go, oh, you're not needed anymore. Like, let's take, for example, if we were hypothetical and the leftists were to win, and I mean leftists, not individuals, we're talking political groups. If political group like a leftist had won in the Soviet Union, as they did, the first people that they targeted were the homosexuals, were the gays. They said, nope, no, you don't fit into our new society, our new utopia.
Right.
We used you to get here to divide everyone, but now you got to go. It's what they do. They can't create. You can't create inside of an iron box.
But they literally are doing that because now being gay isn't enough. If you're not non-binary
or transgender or CZ, I know. That's why.
You're evil.
It's
right.
crazy.
The game that Hollywood plays in the media and stuff, you hear me always saying it's evil because, listen, I love my mom so much, and my sister, and my brother. Of course, he's not here anymore. But the point is that my mom, my sister, they cry sometimes based upon what's going on out here. Like if CNN, like Chris Cuomo, why I have no sympathy for that prick whatsoever. It's like if he comes on TV and starts being condescending to his so-called black audience, it's war against black people out here. They're hunting you, white supremacists. You're stressing my mother out. You know what I mean? It's like I hate that shit because she's watching it, she's believing it, she's ingesting it. It's not
thinking
healthy.
Kids are being hunted down. You know what? It's because they're selling fear.
Right.
They're selling fear.
Because it works.
I thank
Fear
God
works.
that my son listens to me. When I like I said, I always sit him down and I talk to him. Don't believe anything that you see, son. And now he texts me, 13 years old, talking about, did you see what so and so said and everything, and and all that stuff. But it's so important to be able to look through this stuff, man. You can't have these people dictating to you who you're supposed to be. That's why we have Black Lives Matter, because you have all of these. A lot of them are well-meaning people, who got swept up in the emotion of it all.
Right.
And the actual title Black Lives Matter is such an evil thing because of course Black Lives Matter, right?
Well, just like Planned Parenthood.
Yeah.
You can't plan a parenthood.
Well, I think they were trying to play off of the "Aren't I a Man" thing or "Aren't I a Woman" thing, but I think the problem with the BLM movement was that you have a lot of people who are having real issues, but who don't know how to solve them through the system.
Right. Well, and they got taken advantage of. They got taken advantage of. BLM saw an opportunity. Look who got rich off of that. Democratic candidates and the people that
got all the money.
The people that are the head of that foundation.
Yeah, the white people.
Because you hit it perfectly,
Mark. The
Mark.
first thing you have to say, I'm sorry, but I just got to make the point. The first thing you have to say, we talk about, effeminate black men and everything. I went to the Million Man March back in 1995.
That was powerful, wasn't it?
It was powerful because that was a time when we said, we're responsible for our lives. Our lot in life. You don't blame the so-called man. You don't blame your mama and your daddy and all that stuff. I'm responsible for myself, right? That's a very, very powerful message. So that's what you need going forward. If you want to be empowered, don't look to anybody else. You just look inward and you say to yourself, I have to be proof of my own goodness, of my own humanity. I'm not going to play into a stereotype.
Right.
I'm going to be my own ideal.
But I do think when it comes to that, though, it's the approach that they should have taken. And I think the approach that should have been supported more, discussed more, is better education, higher education. And if you see a problem in the system, then maybe you should become a part of it. There should be more recruitment in these communities for the police department.
Agreed.
More people being encouraged to go to school, go to college, go to law school, become
modern
lawyers, the
colleges.
prosecutors, the judges, and then you can actually make a difference. But the other thing too is because we saw that happen with the Irish, and I always bring this up. When they became one of the largest immigrant groups on the East Coast, they felt a lot of the same things. They faced discrimination, they faced profiling. They were being locked up in huge numbers. The whole paddy wagon was because it was named after the people they were throwing in the back.
Yeah, Irish people, right.
But guess what happened? They started flooding the police department to the point where they became pretty much almost synonymous.
Yep.
Irish and cop were just one and the same.
Yeah.
And then they took it out on the Italians when they came.
Well, yeah.
So one positive thing though is like in police work, the representation of black people is actually very high, much higher than what it is in the civilian population. Like there is a large group of black people that did go and join the police, and but that never gets mentioned, by the way.
The other thing that never gets mentioned, someone mentioned earlier about people being hunted in the streets and things like that. It's always from a victim mentality and a victim perspective. Right. But when you start talking about black gun ownership and self-defense,
those liberals are the first scared ones. That's the best part. Like, I think it was the perfect way of putting it. Like when Virginia had enough with them telling the politicians telling their people, like, we're going to tell you what's best for your children. You have no right to tell us what to teach at school. So they voted red and pretty much swept it all. A very prominent Democratic person female who supports the Democratic Party, put in a tweet. She was like, if black voters are going to vote for these white supremacists, then maybe we should take away their vote. See, the second these people find that you're not following their narrative, well, then you're the enemy.
Well,
no matter
what
who
they
you
said.
are.
Look what they said about the lieutenant governor that won. Black female veteran, second generation. Yeah, they were like, well, she's what enables white supremacy.
Oh, yeah. But that's the same thing
I love her.
But that's the same thing they did to the gentleman who was running for California governor just 2 months ago.
You
they
mean the blackface?
The black white supremacist. I'm like, huh?
Yeah,
no, they said the blackface of white supremacy.
How is that?
Right.
That makes no sense. But people
I've been called that in my comments.
That just blows my my mind that someone can even have that much balls.
That's illogical. It doesn't even make sense.
No, it does. When you think about how, in a realm of this discussion, I mean, technically speaking, race has always been a political thing. From its inception here in this hemisphere, it's been used for political purposes, and it's changed over the years. For example, for a time we had a quote unquote one drop rule, right? But in certain states where they needed a higher population of people to go and settle it, you could be 25% African and you were legally white. Why? Because politically speaking, they needed representation there.
Yes.
And so what seems to be happening is that they're turning race now into a political stance. So if you support a particular point of view, then you're by default white or white leaning or white supremacist, or however you want to describe it. And if you're on the other side, you're this very vague people of color or minority thing,
right?
That's now becoming inclusive of people who are white.
Like the Asians, they're white adjacent now. Asian people are white adjacent because they work. Look, I dated a girl whose parents were right off the boat. They worked their asses off till they could afford to open up their own laundromat. They opened up their own laundromat, press clothes, wash clothes, put both their kids through very good schools, Villanova and Pitt, and now if their kids push through and they want to go to Harvard, well, they no longer get any of the support they used to get because they did too well.
Well, it's even called out. I forgot what Maryland. I can't remember, but the school.
Maryland was the one you showed me, right?
It said people of color minus Asians,
and then people are white, including Asians. Like
here's an interesting point too along those lines when it comes to admissions.
Yeah,
you had action that was put in place, particularly to ward against racial discrimination against qualified Black Americans who were descended from slaves.
Right.
It's been used to now support everybody else, white women, immigrants, But interestingly, in a lot of these colleges, the quote unquote Black population or the groups that they're pulling from are Africans or other immigrants.
Right.
So I thought that was interesting too, because you're seeing pushback now between Black Americans and non-Black Americans.
Oh,
and,
I see.
they're how should they be described? Are they really racially Black American or not? Like, it's just this weird.
Well, that's because now they're saying, I forgot her name. I forget which one it was. One of the CRT people. They're like, no. Black is a social thing rather than a race. Like, is how you act, basically who you vote for and what political leanings you have. That makes you Black.
So White Ricky was Black.
That definition, that Dolezal chick is Black then.
Dolezal,
yeah.
The absurdity of.
Oh my God! Wait a minute, real quick. Think about that. If that happened today, because that happened pre all this.
No. She's tried it already. It didn't.
I identify as rich and skinny, and I'm waiting for both to happen. Yeah.
There was a great paper written about transracialism and how it should, if we're going to accept transgenderism, the same logic applies to transracialism. And it did not go over well at all.
The irony is that it does work. I mean, gender is actually real. Like, it's a scientific reality. Race isn't.
Yeah. So science. Race is just, we created it. We decided, hey, wait a minute, we're different.
I think it was Malcolm X who said, be careful of the liberal, the wolf in sheep's clothing. Yeah. A line, something like that.
That's what I love about. I love about my channel is that I love talking the IPs we love, but it really does bleed into everything else.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be having these conversations, and it's important that, we have different people that look different, that not just by color, but we've all had different experiences growing up, and we can share that with each other and learn. Because Jane, I still have to say, you freaking talk like the Tyler Perry thing. You blew my goddamn mind with that too, with the lighter skinned women and the darker skin. Like, fucked me up for a while because I was like, Tyler Perry's got it right. Well, no, he does not.
Yeah.
What?
Not.
Tyler Perry,
she makes great videos.
He follows those stereotypes, like the lighter skinned black woman is always the sweeter one and the gentler one, but the darker skin is the stronger, manlier one. And all the men are like
one.
Yeah.
My issue is that you were a fan of his.
No, it's.
Well, you're a fan of the OC. Come on.
You bring in the OC.
First of all, I saw Medea on stage, dude. Okay, that's how far back I went with that, dude.
Oh my god,
it was
think
awesome.
Once you like the OC, you've lost your judging privileges.
Have you seen it?
No, I could tell. I saw the trailer. That's it.
What, the OC?
Yeah,
I made that trailer.
No, the trailer was good. I'm talking about the trailer with the OC. No.
I just want to talk about one more thing.
Our first step, I think, would be to remove the hyphen and get back to we're all Americans.
I like that. I like that idea. If you were born here or if you became a citizen here, guess
American.
What? You're American. I no longer say I'm Italian American.
I hate
because I have other mixtures in me.
As long as it's not the Greek.
A little, I think that's fine. I think we should have a strong national identity.
But don't forget your roots.
Think it's important. Yeah, it's important to respect and value and celebrate your own culture.
Yeah,
because you can do that and it can work. And I think Louisiana is a great example of that because our culture is a mixture of everything that's come through, and it's apparent in everything from the music to the food, the language, everything.
Yeah,
diversity is actually a good thing. Diversity is a good. I don't like to hear people say, well, it doesn't matter to me that you're this or you're that, or I don't see color. You probably should see color, but the thing is that you appreciate it doesn't just go one way. Right. Just because people are different, we have to resent each other. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can really appreciate a different culture.
We're not being allowed to celebrate anymore.
You're not allowed to
celebrate. It's called appropriation. Yeah,
we have a Celtic festival every year, and I love it. The food is amazing.
Right. Oh, wait a minute! You're not of Irish descent. Well, then you are not allowed in here. Like, that's so stupid.
Jane, if I find out you're doing whiteface at this,
there's a lot of black people of Irish descent there. You'd be surprised.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it.
Who isn't Irish?
Them Irish got in it.
They got around.
Yeah, we fuck everybody.
Yeah, you guys got around. All right. I was gonna just end with this Batman thing. We don't have to go over it. But they came out with a new synopsis. Do you think? Okay, so I'm going to read the synopsis really quick and then tell me what you guys think. A lot of people think the killer is going to be the Joker. So
I thought it was the Riddler. Doesn't it have question marks?
That's what I'm about to say. 2 years of stalking the streets as the Batman, Robert Pattinson, striking fear into the hearts of criminals, has led Bruce Wayne deep into the shadows of Gotham City. With only a few trusted allies, Alfred Pennyworth, Andy Serkis, and Lieutenant James Gordon, Jeffrey Wright, amongst the city's corrupt network of officials and high-profile figures, the lone vigilante has established himself as the sole embodiment of vengeance among his fellow citizens. When a killer targets Gotham's elite with a series of sadistic, what is that word?
Machinations.
Machinations. Okay. A trail of cryptic clues send the world's greatest detective on an investigation, which is great, into the underworld, where he encounters such characters as Selena Kyle, Oswald, the Penguin, Carmen Falcone, the Riddler. As the evidence begins to lead closer to the home and the scale of the perpetrator's plan becomes clear, Batman must forge new relationships, unmask the culprit, and bring justice to the abuse of power and corruption that has long plagued Gotham. While from initial glance, vague hint towards a killer seems to be referring to the Riddler, not everyone's convinced. So some people think they're going to try to bring in the Joker. Wouldn't that be just too much? And is anybody excited for this movie?
Oh, I hope it's Jared Leto.
Who would be the Joker? Yeah, would it be Phoenix or?
It would have to be Phoenix, I would think.
What over Jared Leto? Come on.
I thought he was your favorite guy.
Jared, like remember the tattoo on his head that said "damage"? Get it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Tom? Bat Tom? Is that Bat Tom?
Yeah, that's Bat Tom.
Sparkle Pants couldn't even lick my boots.
So what are you saying? He's not going to do a good job?
At licking my boots, sure,
but not as Batman.
Fuck no.
Okay. Would you be worried they have too many bad guys in the movie, or are you fine with that?
I could always kick some bad guy ass, but I think they're overdoing it for Bat Boy, just because he's so little.
So little. All right, we're closing it out there, everybody. Thank you so much. I hope everybody has a good night. I don't want to run it too long. 2 hours is perfect. Mark, let me get this out of the way. Mark, you are welcome anytime, man. I'm adding you to the chat.
Yep.
I love having you on, man. It's powerful.
As
really
co-host, I co-sign that.
You are not the co-host. You are not the co-host. All right.
I really do appreciate that, guys. Thank you.
Yes. Guys, tell them where they can find you, Mark.
Mark with a C is the channel. You can also catch me on Odyssey. I believe that link was also dropped in the chat there. So you can check me out when I talk about the more inflammatory things that's going on out here. But, man, I like to bring the pain. You know what I mean?
Yes,
I like
sir.
to say what's on my mind. That's what I say, telling you exactly what's on my mind. So if you're thinking it, we love to talk about it. Doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Bring your opinions and just let her rip, man.
Yeah, thanks,
All
Mark.
are welcome. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And make sure you keep eyes on Mark. You're also on the Dark Council, which is just killing it. You guys are awesome. We lead into the Dark Council on Wednesdays. So stop here first and then go right over to whoever's having the Dark Council that night. Please make sure, guys.
I'm just make sure, because we're talking about the Dark Council. It would be a real easy transition for, I don't know, me to go from this stream to that. If you ever need someone on the panel, it's easily done.
Come on by, my friend.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody, for being
Jane.
here.
I want to get you on there, Jane.
Jane needs to be on there. Needs to be on there. I mean, I could be too. But anyways, everybody have a good night. Thank you for being here. And I want to say a special thank you to my members and everyone who super chatted tonight. As we talked about earlier, it's like one of the only things that really helps us keep this thing going. So this one goes out to you, even though I don't know if Culture updated it. So I still owe a couple people's names. Have a great night, everybody. Thanks.
Later.
You just couldn't help but jump on my train to the Dark Council.
Dude, you are a stream slut.
Smooth as shit.
You're a stream slut. Yeah, he did say train.
Choo-choo. Choo-choo. Hey, there's my man.
There it is, George. Have a great night, everybody.